So the loss of biodiversity, right? Now loss of biodiversity are being added. Okay, if new species are being added, that is through speciation into the Earth's territory. The colonization of tropical specific islands. The colonization of tropical specific islands by humans is said to have led to the extinction of more than 2000 species of native birds. Now, International Union of Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources IUCN in 2004, okay, a red list, that is 2004, documents the extinction of 784 species including 338 vertebrates, 359 invertebrates, 87 plants in the last 500 years. So 784 species including 338 vertebrates and 339, that is 339 is invertebrates and 87 is plants in the last 500 years. So some examples of recent extinction include the dodo, that is from Mauritius, quagga from Africa, thylacine, that is Australia, and Steller sicov, that is Russia, and three subspecies Bali joan and Caspian of tiger. The last 20 years alone have witnessed the disappearance of 27 species. So extinction across taxa are not random. Some groups like amphibians appear to be more vulnerable to extinction, adding to the grim scenario of extinctions in the fact that more than 15,500 species worldwide are facing the threat of extinction. So 15,500. Presently 12% of all birds, 23% of all mammals, and 32% of all amphibians, and 31% of all gymnosperm. So 12 of birds, 23 of mammals, and 32 of amphibians, and 31 of gymnosperm. So 12 of birds, 23 of mammals, and 32 of amphibians, and 31 of gymnosperm. Facing the threat of extinction. Okay. From a study of the history of life form on Earth through fossil records, we learn that large-scale loss of species like the one we are currently witnessing have also happened earlier, even before humans appeared on the scene. So during the long period like greater than 3 billion years ago, since the origin and diversification life on Earth, there were 5 episodes of mass extinction of species. How is the sixth extinction presently in progress different from the previous episode? Okay, the difference in the rates, the current species extinction rates are estimated to be 100 to 1000 times faster than in the pre-human times, and our activities are responsible for the faster rate. Ecologists warn that if the present trends continue, nearly half of all the species on Earth might be wiped out within the next 100 years. So in general, loss of biodiversity in a region may lead to decline in plant production. So loss of biodiversity in a region may lead to decline in plant production. So loss of biodiversity decline in the plant production, then lowered resistance to environmental perturbations such as drought, and increased variability in certain ecosystem processes such as plant productivity, water use, pest and disease cycles. Increased variability in certain ecosystem processes such as plant productivity, they show the increased variability, and water use, pest and disease cycles. So causes of biodiversity losses: the accelerated rates of species extinctions that the world is facing now are largely due to the human activities. It is largely by the human activities, and the major four causes, these are the evil quarter is the object used to term for them. So first one is the habitat loss and fragmentation, second is the over exploitation, third is the alien species invasion, and fourth one is the coextinction. So habitat loss and fragmentation. So this is the most important cause driving animals and plants to extinction. The most dramatic examples of habitat loss come from the tropical rainforest. Because once covering more than 40% of the Earth's land area, these rainforests now cover no more than 6%. They are being destroyed fast. So by the chapter you finish, like 1,000 more hectares of rainforest would have been lost. The Amazon rainforest, it is so huge that it is called the lungs of the planets, and it is so huge that it is called the lungs of the planet, harboring probably millions of species, is being cut and cleared for cultivating, for what, for cultivating the, it was like, it was like more than, it was like more than 40% of the Earth's land area. This rainforest now this rainforest now cover no more than 6%. Okay, they are being destroyed. uh, They are being cut and cleared for cultivating soybeans, for conservation to grasslands, for raising beef cattle. Now, besides the total loss, the degradation of many habitats by pollution also threatens the survival of many species. Okay, the Amazon rainforest. Okay, heavily for cultivating soybeans and for conserve. Okay, so pollution is also the cause of this. Okay, so when large habitats are broken up into small fragments due to various human activities, mammals and birds recovering large territories, and certain activities mammals recovering so to various human activities, mammals and birds recovering large territories, and certain animals with migratory habitats are badly affected, leading to population declines. So when large habitats are broken up into small fragments due to various human activities, mammals, birds recurring large territory, and certain animals with migratory habitats are badly affected, leading to population declines. So overexploitation. Okay, humans have always depended on nature for food and shelter, but we need now turns into greed. It leads to like overexploitation of natural resources, many species extinctions in the last 500 years, that is sealers, stickcow and passenger pigeon, were due to the overexploitation by humans, right? Now, presently, many marine fish populations around the world are over harvested, endangering the continued existence some commercially important species. Okay, now alien species invasions. So when alien species are introduced unintentionally or deliberately, I mean forcibly, for whatever purpose, some of them turn invasive, some turn into problems, right? And cause decline or extinction of indigenous species. I mean, it causes the extinction or harm to the native species in there. So Nile perch, example is Nile perch, introduced into Lake Victoria in East Africa, led eventually to the extinction of an ecological unique assemblage of more than 200 species of cichlid fish in the lake. Okay, threat posed to our native species by invasive weed species like carrot grass, that is Parthenium. Another example, that is Lantana, and water hyacinth, that is Ecornoia. So carrot grass, and then carrot grass, that is Parthenium, then Lantana, and water hyacinth, that is Ecornoia, right? The recent illegal introduction of the African catfish, that is Clarius gary-pinus, for aquaculture purposes, is posing a threat to the indigenous catfishes in our rivers, right? Now the co-extinctions. When a species becomes extinct, the plant and animal species associated with it in an obligatory way also become extinct. So when a species becomes extinct, the plant and animal species associated with it in an obligatory way also become extinct. It means like, if you trust your friend, if your friend cheated, then you are also being going to cheat it at the same time. the okay, so this is it, like co-extinction when a species, okay, now when a host, now another line is the when a host fish species becomes extinct, its unique its unique assembles of parasites also meets the same fate. If host species become extinct, then the parasites also extinct. Another example is the case of co-evolved plant pollinator mutualism, where extinction of one invariable leads to the extinction of the other. Now the biodiversity conservation, right? So conserve why should we conserve biodiversity, right? Biodiversity conservation. Wait. Okay, so why should we conserve biodiversity? So there are many reasons. They are grouped into three categories, like narrowly utilitarian, broadly utilitarian, then ethical. So narrowly utilitarian arguments for conserving biodiversity are obvious, like humans derive countless direct economic benefits from nature, that is food, cereal, pulses, fruits, firewood, fiber, construction material, industrial products, tannins, lubricants, dyes, resins, perfumes. Okay, perfumes, products, all these product, tannins, lubricants, dyes, resins, perfumes, all these products, and products of medicinal importance. So more than 25% of the drugs currently sold in market worldwide are derived from the plants, and 25,000 species of plants contribute to the traditional medicines used by native people around the world. So more than 25% of the drugs currently sold in market worldwide are derived from the plants, and 25,000 species of plants contribute to the traditional medicines. Now nobody knows how many more medicinally useful plants there in the tropical rainforest waiting to be explored. So with increasing resources put into bioprospecting, that is exploring molecular, genetic and species level diversity for products of economic importance. So with increasing resources put into bioprospecting, that is exploring molecular, genetic and species level diversity for products of economic importance, nations endowed with rich biodiversity can expect to reap enormous benefits. So now the broadly utilitarian argument says that biodiversity plays a major role in many ecosystem services that nature provides. Many ecosystem services, right, that nature provides. The fast dwelling Amazon rainforest. Amazon forest is estimated to produce through photosynthesis like 20% of the total oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. So 20% of the total oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. So all that oxygen, and then pollination, without which plants cannot give us fruits or seeds, okay, which is the end product of the sexual reproduction. Seeds and fruits is another service. Then ecosystem provide through pollinators layer like bees and bumblebees, birds and bats. What will be the cost of accomplishing pollination? Accomplishing pollination without help from the natural pollinators. There are other intangible benefits that we derive from the nature. The aesthetic pleasures of walking through the thick woods, watching spring flowers in bloom, full bloom, or waking up to a bulbul song in the morning. So we cannot put the price tags on this because it will go crazy if we put it. Now the ethical argument for conserving biodiversity relates to what we own to millions of plant, animal and micro species with whom we share this planet. Physiologically or spiritually, we need to realize that every species has an intrinsic value. So physiologically, spiritually, has each species has an intrinsic value, even if it may not be of current or any economic value to us. All species has an intrinsic value. So we have a moral duty to care for their well-being and pass on our biological legacy in good order to future generation. Now, how do we conserve biodiversity? Another question was why we conserve biodiversity. Now we are going to study. Now, how do we conserve biodiversity if we want? So when we conserve and protect the whole ecosystem, its biodiversity at all levels is protected. We save the entire forest to save the tiger. This approach is called in situ conservation. However, when there are so its biodiversity at all level is protected. We save the entire forest to save the target. Now this approach is called in situ conservation. However, when there when there are situations where an animal or plant is endangered or threatened, organism specimen of very high risk of extinction in the wild in the near future and needs urgent measures to save it from extinction. That is, ex situ conservation is a desirable approach. Now the in situ conservation.